Hi again and welcome. Hong Kong is in the grips of another killer virus. In just a few weeks, the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak has killed more people than SARS did in 2003, and tens of thousands of others are infected. Here in Hong Kong, shopping districts are ghost towns. Daily necessities are scarce, and face masks and hand sanitizers have become a new currency. Tonight, we'll hear from health experts to separate rumors from reality, learn the best ways to prevent infection. But first, a look back when Hong Kong was on the front lines against another killer virus. 17 years ago, SARS took a heavy toll on this city, and now, with infection rates from the coronavirus rising daily, memories from a darker time are resurfacing. Tonight, reporter Alice Kahn brings us stories of past recoveries, the hard lessons learned, and the emotional scars that live on.
In 2003, another coronavirus hit Hong Kong and the world.
The cause of the SARS is still unknown for me. It's kind of bone weakness or a lot of symptoms after you take in the heavy medicine.
Memories of the SARS contagion.
Oh my God, was it SARS again?
Bats are still the likely primary reservoir. Now, the only problem that we don't know is what is this intermediate animal.
SARS claimed 299 Hong Kong lives and infected over 1,000. Chino Ng is 67 years old. She's keeping an eye on the latest news about the Wuhan coronavirus outbreak. Chino was infected with SARS back in 2003. She's very nervous about the rapid spread of the new germ.
When I heard the death case, I was really down. I was thinking, oh no, my God, is it starting now? And I was thinking, better not. And I hope it won't be like 17 years ago.
Chino used to live in Amoy Gardens. The estate played an unwanted starring role in the 2003 SARS epidemic. In March 2003, 200 residents, including Chino, contracted the virus within a week after a mainland SARS virus carrier visited his friend who lived in Amoy Garden, Block E. The theory was the virus spread in droplets of water through the pipes of the building. The residents of Block E were quarantined. Chino was quarantined in Princess Margaret Hospital.
My cough was going bad and so bad, and I didn't have fever at that time, but every single inch of my muscle is so painful. I was in the hospital for 21 days. And you know what? In those 21 days, because I had diarrhea, I felt twice in the toilet. And I wouldn't dare to say a word, and I wouldn't dare to tell anybody.
Chino finally recovered from SARS and left the hospital. However, it was just the beginning of her nightmare. Chino suffered from a degenerative bone disorder called avascular necrosis. That is a side effect caused by the steroids used to treat SARS. Chino has difficulty in walking, and she has had to use a wheelchair for half a year.
I went to have an MRI, and they say the bones, I got so many holes on the bones, but didn't tell me where it stops or where it starts. And the doctor was recommended to cut off my feet, both. And I said, what? I was so mad with him. I said, how can you say, cut my feet? What am I gonna do the rest of my life?
So Chino received acupuncture and walked with a cane. She has to take tablets regularly.
This is the tablet I took for my bones, for calcium, to strengthen my bone and to strengthen my feet as well. If I forgot that week, then my knees will get hurt.
To strengthen her legs and muscles, she practiced Tai Chi. Chino can walk now, but gets short of breath sometimes if she walks too much. The nightmare of SARS still lingers.
For 17 years ago, yes, that really affected us for sleeping. I can't sleep. For 17 years now, every time when I walk into the elevator, if there's somebody sneeze or cough inside the elevator, I get so nervous and anxious.
As Chino does not want to contract another coronavirus, she will keep her place very clean and protect herself as much as she can.
I always have a mask in my pocket or clean tissue in my pocket. Every time when people sneeze, I immediately take tissue or a mask, I put it on my face.
Ken Chan was also a SARS patient in 2003. He lived in Amoy Garden Block E, where he lives today. He was only 20 when he contracted SARS. He was admitted to hospital 2 days before an important school examination.
This is Block E, the major outbreak of SARS back in 2003 in Amoy Gardens. In this direction, you can see the 7 and 8 room. I'm living in the another side of the building. The reason is still unknown, because when I was back in 2003, I was studying advanced level exam. But all of a sudden, I got fever. And then I go to the clinic, it closed, and I go to the hospital. And then it diagnosed I have high fever, and then I was living in Amoy Garden, and then I was immediately isolated. I think this is some kind of bad luck at that moment. I feel really frustrated about the situation. I should be in the exam center nearby, just right next to the hospital.
His parents and sisters were also quarantined at the time. Ken says the hospital was very scary.
I need to go to toilet frequently. Diarrhea, at least 10 times a day. The medical staff, they all fall sick and infected by the same ward. I believe there's a lot of patients infecting others too. So the whole room is full of virus.
Like other SARS patients, he was also treated with high doses of steroids.
At that moment, even every step I walk, I feel a little bit pain in the hip and also the knee. This area, the bone here and also here, on both sides. At that moment of recovery, I can't do any kind of sport. I can't run. I can't play football, which is my hobby. And after the half year, I still take some time to recover from this kind of pain.
Ken was very young. He recovered faster than the other SARS patients. Unlike Chino, Ken does not suffer from anxiety, and he does not wear masks. He believes he has the antibodies that can fight against the Wuhan coronavirus.
SARS antibody only lasts for about 2 to 3 years. Yeah, so I don't think the SARS survivor would be immune to the new novel coronavirus. This is a new coronavirus. It's not branching out from SARS coronavirus.
Professor David Hoy is an expert in respiratory and emerging infectious diseases. He was one of the doctors who treated SARS patients in 2003. He said the virus was very unique, causing a sudden deterioration in patients.
So in those days, we had to see every patient about 3 times a day to see the progression of the disease. And we try to learn from the new disease, from the first batch of our patients.
Hoy was one of the first of what was called the dirty medical team members on the front line against the disease. He said it is very hard to forget the SARS period.
There was one afternoon that one of the senior cardiologists who actually got infected with SARS he deteriorated. He required almost 100% of oxygen, even though he had been already intubated and receiving ventilatory support. There were only 3 cardiologists who were not infected, and they were in the clean team. So I went back to my ward and tried to pick someone who was not so ill. So eventually I found another colleague. He was already receiving supplemental oxygen. He was a bit short of breath. I actually got a wheelchair and I wheeled him down from the ward to the intensive care. He had difficulty standing up to perform the cardiac ultrasound. I had to support him. So eventually he completed the ultrasound for his colleague.
After the break, expert advice on how to fight an unseen enemy. Stay with us. Welcome back. Experts are racing to find a vaccine for the coronavirus. In the meantime, authorities say prevention is the best medicine. But in a city in panic, what else can we do to stay safe? Alice Khan again with insights and advice from the experts.
The novel coronavirus, first identified in the city of Wuhan, has managed to spread to Hong Kong and around the world. Contagion fears spark panic buying of face masks, hand sanitizers, even toilet paper. Some elderly customers burst into tears and refused to leave, trying to force their way into this Indian restaurant. People also lined up outside this chain store to register to buy face masks. Many left empty-handed. A medical expert estimates that Hong Kong could consume 300 million masks a month during the epidemic. The government revealed it only had 12 million left, and the city's public hospitals only had stock for a month. Prior to the outbreak of coronavirus, SARS survivor Ken Chan never wore a mask. He believed he was healthy and possessed antibodies against the new virus. As Ken is now married, with a newborn baby, he became more concerned about the spread of the new disease. So he changed his mind about face masks and had to scramble around a few shops looking for a supply.
It's really hard because I just went in, a lot of stuff sold out. So I only bought some protection like a hand washer and different type of masks. This one is costing like 45 per mask. Everything is like they raise the price, and a lot of like situation that people are fighting for getting one of them.
Now, he constantly sprays sanitizer to keep the germ away.
We have at least like stock up at least 2 boxes of masks to at least when we go out for work or for dinner, we can have enough to support the protections.
He also bought an infrared machine to sterilize milk bottles. Ken still lives in Amoy Gardens, a flashpoint during the SARS epidemic. The virus spread into flats in Block E via water pipes in the toilet. So Ken makes sure the pipes are filled with water to stop the new threat.
We have to do is fill in the water in this kind of pump. We fill in the water and make sure this kind of tube, we can inject this tube into the pipe to make it wet.
He also bought cleaners to sanitize the flat.
This kind of like alcohol to at least wash some like for cleaning the stuff. And of course we have some kind of like hand washer, at least 3 to 4 small bottles. After the outbreak, I have like kind of prepared 1 more bottle of like bleach to at least we can like clean up the place and kill the virus.
Ken admits he's become cautious but insists he isn't panicking. But others have become more anxious. Salesperson Jessica Yu decided to work from home to avoid contracting the coronavirus, and she canceled all socializing with friends and relatives.
It's getting so serious, and then the numbers increased. I expect you need to take 6 months to 1 year. I want to survive, so I need to prepare myself. The government's supposed to serve the people, but we cannot see it.
She stocked up on thousands of face masks since the beginning of January.
I spent 40,000 already. For this here has 10 boxes, so I maintain 40 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes for my family and friends, and little things here. Use it daily. If I use 1 pieces, I can survive for half a year.
There are still more face masks in this box.
I counted last night. It's about 600 here in the box. It can cover your face very well.
Jessica says she'll wear a mask at home if she has visitors.
My friend visiting me, so I would recommend both of us are wearing masks. I'm scared of if I'm not protecting myself well. If I got the virus, I spread to other person, or spread to my parents. They are all.
While she's hoarded the face mask, she neglected to buy cleaning supplies to sterilize her flat.
That is very difficult to buy and super expensive. Something like this, 62 bottle is 200. Even though every day I go to the pharmacy, maybe know well that they cannot have stock. So this is the alternative solution for me. So that's why I get the walker. This is walker, yeah. As I know, the alcohol over 70 or 75% can be effective to kill the germs. Or I really need to go to the public toilet. I spray. I'll spray my hand and spray the toilet before I enter.
She soon realized vodka was expensive and decided it was more economical to clean her floors with Chinese rice wine. She doesn't think she's overreacting.
Now you don't have vaccine, and you need to take 1 year and more. Then that maybe have some medicine can cure that disease. So now quite unpredictable. Of course, we are worried.
Well, this is the patient from Wuhan with the new coronavirus infection. The dark area is actually the air, which is normal. The white spots, like cotton wool, these are the areas of pneumonia. So he deteriorated, and he actually required intubation and mechanical ventilation.
17 years after SARS, Professor David Hui is helping to contain the spread of the new pneumonia. He travels to Guangzhou to discuss treatment with Chinese doctors.
You can never develop any vaccine within a short time. So by the time a new virus emerged, to the time that a vaccine is available, you're talking about 2 years easily.
Hui says it is a challenge to treat patients who have been infected with the Wuhan flu.
In 2003, it was the bats that had infected civet cats, and the coronavirus underwent mutation in the civet cats before jumping to human. At the moment when you do not have the known source, and when you cannot control the source, it would be difficult to control the spread of the disease and prevent recurrence of the infection.
The new virus reportedly causes fewer fatalities than SARS. Hui says the total mortality rate for SARS was 9.6%, but so far, coronavirus is only 2 to 3%. But he says the transmission potential of the new strain is faster than SARS.
It is behaving a bit like the influenza virus, so very easily transmitted, and yet the mortality doesn't appear to be that high. This new Wuhan virus actually is a lot more infectious. You can see that over a few weeks, the number has hit over 20,000. But in 2003, within a few months, there were only just slightly over 8,000 cases globally.
386 local healthcare workers were infected with SARS because there weren't any proper isolation rooms installed.
So if a patient coughs or sneezes, the droplet will come out. The distance is between 1 to 1.8 meters. The beds were so crowded, less than 1 meter apart between the beds. When you perform sputum suction and manual ventilation, you generate a lot of tiny droplet nuclei, which can be suspended in the air and causing limited airborne transmission.
These days, Hong Kong hospitals are equipped with more than 100 isolation beds that operate with negative pressure and double doors.
The negative pressure room means there is actually fresh air coming from the ceiling. And there is actually a device at the end, at the bottom part of the bed, to remove the air quickly. And then the air will become filtered by another device outside the room. It occurs at least 12 times per hour. So that means air will be filtered 12 times. When the patient coughs, the droplet will fall and quickly removed by this remover and then get filtered.
In the last 2 weeks, there have been some sporadic cases in the community, heightening the fears. Residents in a housing block in Tsingyi were evacuated after 2 were confirmed to have contracted the virus. These 2 cases lived on different floors and their flats shared the same discharge pipe, recalling the Amoy Gardens cluster of SARS infection. Also, 11 out of 19 family members who shared a hot pot meal contracted coronavirus. 2 family members had traveled from the mainland to join the gathering during Lunar New Year. Professor Hui says the source of transmission still comes from the mainland. He also says there's no strong evidence of community outbreak in Hong Kong so far. He said the incubation period is 14 days, but the virus carrier may not show any symptoms during the incubation period, and the carrier can easily transmit the virus to others without realizing it. The government has been criticized for not closing the border with the mainland completely. It refused. Instead, it imposed a 14-day mandatory quarantine to all who arrive in Hong Kong from China. Mainland visitors can reside at their hotel rooms during the quarantine period. Local residents can stay home. Professor Hui says a complete border closure may be the best course of action.
Well, ideally, you want to stop any movement across the border, maybe stopping the activity for 2 weeks, because mainland is still the main source of the virus infection.
Hui says the public can adopt some simple habits to help protect themselves from the virus.
Make sure you put on the surgical mask. Make sure you wash your hands with even soap and water would be ideal. And make sure you pay attention to the dorsum part, the palm, and also in between the fingers. These sort of areas sometimes can still retain some droplets. So you need to wash the gap here carefully, not just the palm and the surface part of it.
That's our show for this week. Next time, as another viral menace assaults the SAR, many companies have suspended operations. But as the all-important financial reporting season gets underway, what are the implications for investors? Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.